Apple is sitting right inside my previous day 15 box. This morning, no clean break yet in either direction. Let's build the plan before the bell. What's good, my YGO family? It's TJ, and welcome back to the pre market breakdown where we get locked in before the bell so we already know the plan before most people even open their charts. Today, we're looking at Apple on the 15-minute chart. The price hasn't picked a side yet, it's sitting inside the box right now. So, my job today, our job today, is to be patient, wait for the break, then wait for the retest. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. So do your due diligence. I'm just showing you what I'm looking at, how I trade. But with trading, there comes risk. So we want to manage your risk wisely. So that's out of the way. Here we go. Here's what I'm seeing. The chart is showing me the Apple. Remember, we know the Apple closed yesterday at 309.90. So that's what we see here. We start there with and if you was trading yesterday, we know the Apple was chopping around most of the day, as you can see here. It's just in a choppy, even since here, it's just been chopping. So right now price is sitting it's 309.90. So it's moving towards the top of the box. And as we see, the top of my box is 310.30. And the bottom of the box is 308.81. So price is basically, as we see, is it's bouncing around and staying in the middle right now. So since it's in the middle, there's no edge here yet. If you've been following me, we don't force anything. As I said at the beginning of this video, we wait for a real break, then a retest to allow the chart to tell us which side it's going to take. So we prepare for both ways. That's why you see these lines on here for my targets, but we'll get to that. Let me explain the previous day 15 and how I got it for the newcomers. And it's real simple. Is we take the high and low of the last 15-minute candle of yesterday from the 3:45 to 4 o'clock. Um, I use that because it shows me where price made its final decision before the last session ended. And so we don't wait for open range breakout or anything like that. We use price to react to this level, especially when it's respecting these levels by being in the middle for pre-market. If it was to be already broken out, if we go to the pre-market, which is at the extended time frame, if you're on TradingView, if it was to be broken once the market was open, we don't wait for the break. At that point, we wait for a retest, and if it retests and holds, then we that's when we would get in. And a lot of times, if you know that I drop down to the 2 minute, 5 or the 2 minute to let it break and retest here, or break and retest at the bottom for puts. And with 2 minute close candle that closes, not a wick. We're looking for a strong close candle. I know you can't see that, and for this all this is the blue shade. I don't think I ever said that's post market, so that's what the market did after the market closed, and this is from the pre-market. It's what the market is doing. This usually starts around 4 and it goes up to 9:30, 9:29, right before the market opens, so we get to see a quick glimpse of what the market is doing and preparing before the market open. So, like I was saying, if it breaks up with a 2 minute candle, close it with a volume candle, candle such as like something like this or even like this, but we wouldn't want a wick. We wouldn't trust that. So that's what we're looking at. Volume counter, then we get in for the upside for calls, downside for puts. Trying to keep it as simple as possible. But if anything is confusing, as always, as I tell you, just drop a comment below, and we can do better on the um, video on my next video, or do a complete video where we break it down even more. So back to but that is my previous day 15. That's all it is. It's the top and the bottom of the previous day, of the last candle from the previous day, just showing where price ended, where the battleground was for the institutions, and where they decided they wanted to park the market before the next day. So here's my levels. Here's how I got the key levels. And as you see, if you've been following, I I try to go without the take profits lines, because I do still use the risk to reward, but I like, for if you like me, I like to have some visuals, not too much, so it's not gets too complicated, but it just gives me a way where price can go, where price reacted before, so I can have a, for me, a visual component of where the levels are, so it's a quick view. So the previous day high and the previous day low, we did add that to because that shows what price did on yesterday. So we look for price to come back, either come back and test that level and break, or if it comes back like you see, is like here, it's done hit a couple of times at this previous day low at 308.21. So we could see that price falls back here, try to retest before moving up, or it breaks down and keeps going down. So this is a strong level for me because it's done. If we look back, it's done tested it a couple times, and if you know anything, it's just like it's like a support level, if you will. And support, you can think of it as the floor, like when you hit, throw a ball down to the floor, it bounces back up. So this is just a couple of places where it has bounces and hit support, and it's then shot back up. So we can see what it could do, and as well as just 313.59. It has had a couple of bounces as well. That's like the ceiling. So we look at that as resistance. So we keep that in mind as well, and what makes it even stronger. Same thing as with the previous day high and previous day 15. We can look at it as this is resistance. So if it breaks out and comes back and retests, now resistance becomes the floor, which now becomes support, which pushes it on up, and vice versa. This is support. If it breaks through support, now it becomes resistance. So when it comes back and retests, it becomes, like I said, it comes back and retests resistance. So now it's gonna push it back down because it just hit the ceiling and couldn't break through, and it's going back down. Hope that makes sense. But let's get to the levels. So if it does break my 310.30 previous day high, my first take profit I'm looking at is 312.18. Second take profit, which is the previous day high, is 313.59. And if we get a good push, in a full take profit, I'm looking at 315.88. And on the reverse side, if I'm looking for puts, if it breaks the previous day 15 at 308.81 and retest there, you can see it's gonna be it's neat for me. I know that's the previous day, but I'm also looking for it to break through the previous day low, which is 308.21, for true um, calls. So I'm looking at their first take profit there would be 307.62. And if it does keep going down, you can see that's another strong place, a level where it might continue to go up at 307.31. So you want to be cautious around this level because and if you haven't already scaled out, that's where I would scale out of your position some. But if it does keep falling down and keep going down, we can look at 306.21, and if it keeps going, 303.92. Uh, one thing that we will talk about later is uh, how you can kind of see what the market is doing. You can go to the day, so we can kind of see what the overall trend is, and trend is your friend if you haven't noticed. It's basically what the higher time frame. Where is the market really still going? Really wanting to go. And so I use the SMA, which is the 200 MA. And as you can see, even though it has been going down, the overall trend is still bullish. So that's why I said these are what helps you see. I know it's hard to see with them lines, but where price could bounce and go back up. That's why it keeps bouncing because the overall trend for Apple is wanting to go up, and that's for the most part market. One one extra indicator I want to share with you is this multi-time frame trend dashboard, and what that does gives you a quick overview of the trend of what it's doing on multiple times, so you don't have to really go back and forth to see what it's doing. Um, so at a glance, it's looking like it's. We can go back here so get, but when the market is live, these will change based on what the market is doing on each time frame. So you don't really have to go back and forth. It gives you a score of how strong that move or that trend is on these time frames, and you can change the time frame based on what you do. The time frame, you got four different time frames because I do intraday trading. I do it based off of 15, 30, 1 hour in one day, or day trading as you want to say. You can mess around with these. I just pretty much left them as is. Um, and you can get to it by going to your indicator. Let me go to my favorites, and this is the name of it. Who right here? It is by Miss Talented One. You see this one right here. This is the one that you might want to add to your chart. I do turn that on during the market, but I will try to keep a clean chart so it won't have too many indicators. And if you do want to look at what else I use, is the EMA, the 8 and the 21. The 8 is the white line, the purple is the 21. So I use that as a retest zone too. So sometimes the market respects this zone when it's already outside of my PD 15. So that's what I use to um, get in as well. So I know I wanted to try to make this a little quicker, but I wanted to give you some context and just let you know, try to explain things a little bit more so you have an understanding why I trade, how I trade, and just if you don't have a strategy, this is one you can look into and research. If you got any questions about it, again, drop me a comment. But that's my bullish and my bearish plans. Looking for a break of 310.30 for my call, break and retest of 310.30 for calls to the upside. I'm looking for a break below 308.81 for puts to break and retest below that for puts for the downside. So that's the plan. Um, and we got to look for with volume. The targets are marked in either direction, so that's why I said we don't guess. We prepare for both ways because we can make money in both directions. We can be successful, so we prepare for both ways, so we don't guess. If this has helped you, hit the like button, subscribe, share this with a trader who needs a real plan before the bell. This is You Got Options, as always, where we study the levels, wait for agreement, and we trade with discipline. Have a great trading day, and God bless.